Come back onto the topic of COVID jabs, and Mark, RFK Jr. has made an announcement with respect to children. What has he said?
Well, it's interesting. As we know, he had a less than stellar confirmation hearing. He made a couple points worthy of remembering, noteworthy things. But it seemed at the time, as Patrick pointed out, that he was largely bowing to the pressure of the deep state he was about to enter. And there looked to be a lot of compromise. The good news is that he is laying down some planks of good policy, evidently. And so one of the things is that he says no COVID vaccines for healthy children and pregnant women. On the 27th of May, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., of course, made another sweeping change to the U.S. vaccine landscape. I'm citing different sources, including from the University of Minnesota. And Kennedy said the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have removed its recommendation to give the COVID-19 vaccine for healthy children and pregnant women. And an exact quote is, "I couldn't be more pleased to announce that as of today, the COVID vaccine for healthy children and healthy pregnant women has been removed from the CDC recommended immunization schedule." That's what RFK Jr. said, flanked by Martin Makary, who's with the FDA, and other officials, another one who's a director of the National Institutes of Health. One thing I would note that's interesting is it says the COVID vaccine for healthy children and healthy pregnant women. And one would wonder from hearing that, if you're not altogether healthy as a child or you're not altogether healthy as a pregnant woman, arguably you might be more vulnerable to vaccine adverse effects. So what's with the language there? Probably we'll find out in the days and weeks ahead. But here's the official announcement from HHS.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary, and I'm here today with NIH Director Dr. Jay Bhattacharya and FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty Makary. I couldn't be more pleased to announce that as of today, the COVID vaccine for healthy children and healthy pregnant women has been removed from the CDC recommended immunization schedule. Last year, the Biden administration urged healthy children to get yet another COVID shot despite the lack of any clinical data to support the repeat booster strategy in children.
That ends today. It's common sense and it's good science.
There's no evidence healthy kids need it today, and most countries have stopped recommending it for children.
We're now one step closer to realizing President Trump's promise to make America healthy again.
So on the surface, at least, to a degree, that's good news. And probably they'll go further with this. So we're going to wait and see on some of those qualifying words, healthy children, healthy pregnant women. But I also got a response from Rebecca Hardy on this particular item. And when I contacted her, and she said the following, she's with, of course, Texans for Vaccine Choice. She's the president. And this was directly to UK Column. This wasn't a blanket statement. "We welcome the announcement the CDC is reevaluating its recommendation of the COVID-19 vaccine for healthy children and pregnant women, given the growing number of reported injuries and adverse reactions associated with these vaccines. This is," she said, "a much needed step toward prioritizing safety, enhancing transparency, and restoring trust in public health." A much needed step. And I think we sense that other steps may be needed. But that's the way it stands as of today, gentlemen.
Mike, just a quick comment. I mean, Mark really nailed it there on the healthy qualification, because why was that language inserted in there? And always with RFK, there's always some kind of fly in the ointment. It's just common sense. If your child's healthy, of course, you're not going to strap them down for an experimental gene jab, okay? Common sense, obviously. So there's nothing really, I think, valuable or novel here other than, the government's not going to lean on you, basically. But if you are healthy, if a pregnant woman is healthy, does that mean they need to get the COVID vaccine? The fact that this is not being explained, that RFK injected, no pun intended, that in there, is extremely worrying. And I'm wondering where's the wizard behind the curtain on this? Because it seems like a puppet show with the three stooges there.
Yes, but you've got some vaccine news as well here, Patrick, with respect to Moderna.
Yeah, some potentially good news here. And again, we'll bring in RFK. U.S. cancels more than $700 million in funding for Moderna to develop the bird flu vaccine. So Biden chucked in $590 million, and they had another $176 million with Trump here. And so the bird flu vaccine is basically for Moderna has been canceled. Huge shareholder uproar at Moderna. They don't know what to do. They need to find some free cash. And of course, the bird population is very upset because they have been demonized for carrying this virus that nobody can basically find under a microscope, but only in cell culture and all sorts of complicated processes. To claim that something's happening that might be or might not be contagious, that is not deadly for humans, that doesn't even make humans sick. But nonetheless, if there's one or two cases that they claim are around, it's enough to vaccinate the world. And of course, again, the birds are being unfairly demonized. All the chickens, the roosters who are laying eggs for us, they're all in jeopardy because of this diabolical plot, it seems.
Yeah, but okay, we're not at risk for bird flu, but are we at risk for yet another COVID variant?
Ooh, well, big announcement today, folks, and we didn't tell you this at the beginning of the program because we didn't want to
spoil the surprise.
We don't want to spoil the surprise or scare anybody, quite frankly. But lo and behold, Mike, a new COVID variant has been launched. A new COVID variant is here, and it's more transmissible. Here are the signs and symptoms. Big press event here, and you know what that means, folks? That means Corona wants back onto the main stage. So again, the special thing about the NB.1.8.1 is that they think it's possible it comes from China. It comes from China. So this is particularly dangerous, especially because they claim it comes from China. How did they claim this? How did they find? They did what's called biosurveillance through sequencing. So sequencing and PCR tests, they've got this idea that they put the data together, and there's a new variant's on the loose. This is an extremely disturbing announcement, and we are just so shocked, and I hope everybody is not scared. It's okay to go out, obviously, and socialize with your friends and family, and just go ahead with your daily lives. Act like nothing is happening, but be careful and stay safe out there.
Well, look, in Extra, I'm going to be talking about mentioning the fact that I was in the United States over the weekend, and actually, there were quite a number of people wearing masks again.
Oh no, that's never stopped.
Right.
On the subways in New York and Boston, particularly bad. Philadelphia. East Coast, basically, so from Washington, D.C. The further you get up the eastern seaboard, the more masks on public transport. So there's just a lot of people that are still traumatized, and they've learned to love the mask, much like, was it Aldous Huxley's brother?
Right.
In that famous interview. They learned to love their servitude.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.